Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here today to share my do my layout share for my March 2015 Counterfeit Kit Challenge kit, and I called the kit Take Flight. I started out with this kit with 29 sheets of paper, added in 3 sheets of cardstock or 4 sheets of cardstock, and I think 1 watercolor piece of paper. Anyway, the inspiration for this kit was from the January cupcake kit from A Piece of Cake. And you can find that over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge blog. They have the photos and everything over there. Anyway, I used a close to my heart paper pack called Balloon Ride as my inspiration for this kit. And with the kit I made 17 traditional layouts, 10.5 pocket pages, and 11 cards. So this is the first layout that I made. This is of my grandniece. It's my sister's granddaughter, Aubrey, playing in the lake. And I just used a conglomeration of transparency, rub-on, pearls, these stickers that came in a pack. This is a transparent sticker here. These a butterfly, a tag, a 6x6 sheet of paper that I cut and used a bit over here. This is part of an acetate piece that I only use this little edge on. This I cut out of a pocket page card. This was a little title that I had, and then this is like a little journal spot behind there. And so I just kind of threw it all together, layered it all up, and there's that. This is of my granddaughter Zoe, and so I was putting this layout together and I kept thinking to myself, I wanted to use, you know, she's got all these bright beautiful colors in her shirt, and you know, it kind of looks muted around behind her so you really can't see the colors in the kitchen. It's just this shirt, her hair, her little face, and her eyes. So you know, I wanted to pull all that out, and so I started creating this layout. And as I was going along, I kept thinking, man, this feels so familiar. This feels just so familiar. And so I was Skyping with my sister. We were Skype booking. And I turned around to say something to her, and out of the corner of my eye, I have to show you this. I have some layouts on my wall. This is the layout that was on my wall. I did this layout probably a year ago. Probably around Easter time when the photo was taken. The photo was taken April 20th, 2014. And so I bet I did this layout just right around that time. And then so as I was making this layout, I kept turning around to look to see, oh, are they the same colors? Can I use those colors? Can I use these colors? And it just kind of totally distracted me. But I thought, how funny is that? So I thought I would share that. I use lots of different things. This was a printable here, a cloud printable, and it was kind of like a speech bubble. And I just put that down there and popped up this cloud sticker here, added some sequins, added in the spring title. That was chipboard embellishments from one of the chipboard shapes, and I cut some little banner strips to go back behind that and use some of the orange brads that kind of look like buttons there. Just a scrap of paper here, a 6x6 piece of paper here, a scrap of paper here that I actually cut in half there and there. That's a sticker, a label sticker. These butterflies I actually cut out of this paper. I used some rub-ons down here, some pearls. This is a piece from when I used to swap years ago, and I actually just used a rub-on there, a rub-on here, and then these rub-ons down here, and I actually put another rub-on there. And that's my granddaughter Zoe, by the way, if I didn't say it. This is my niece Amber, my sister's daughter, and then her 3 daughters, Abigail, Aubrey, and Autumn. And so I used one of those transparency pieces that I have in there, the title banners, and I'm telling you, it's just kind of stark there because you can see it so much because it's so solid. I used a little bit of a rub-on in the background there just to kind of tie the color from the blue floaties up that way. I used some letter stickers. I used that little chipboard piece. I used some of the border strips that I cut apart. There's a journal card. scraps of paper. That's part of a border strip sheet that I cut apart. Yeah, just lots of embellishments and rub-ons. Lots of little emphema tucked in behind there. This is my niece's daughter, Autumn. We were swimming at my mom's house in Enid, Mississippi, and there's a dam there, and the side of the dam is all covered with these big, huge boulder and rocks that slope up to the top to the road along the top of the dam. And so the little beach area that we swim at that's really close to my mom's house, it goes all the way over to those rocks. And so Autumn was, playing around in the water, and she got a little bit close to over here to the rocks. They're quite far away. It looks like they're closer in this picture only because they're so huge. I mean, these are boulders over there, and so they look like they're really close, but she's pretty far away. But she got closer over to it and found a little bit of rock, and she came back and she was just proud of herself. But in this layout, I used more of those cut apart words. I explained that I had the whole sheet of those, and I finally just I cut them all up, and I've used all but 2 of those words. That's a pocket page card. 2 separate alphabets there, lots of little random bits to tie in some orange that I used on here. This is a pocket page I did. This is my niece Amber and her girls and my sister Angie, and I just added little bits of emphema all around. Some of it came out of the kit that I chose. Some of it came out of, I keep on my shelf right above my work surface these little bins where I throw lots of leftovers, and sometimes I go digging through there to find things. And that's kind of what I did on these layouts. I just kind of went digging. Oh, that's interesting. Found little bits of pieces in here and used them. And these were from the kit, and so into that they went. So I'll be pulling from that randomly. I think every now and again I'm just going to toss that into the trash, but anywho, I was able to use up tons of little bits and pieces, and I love the overall effect of it. This, with the kit, came with the pocket cards, the pocket page cards, these cards. They came in a kit with the page protectors and this title page. And so Once Upon a Time was already there, and I put Somewhere Over America. And then I popped these up on foam stickers. These were part of a compliments package that came with the paper, and an alpha that I had to Frankenstein some A's out of V's. But this was just a solid sheet of paper behind here. I added the 2 photos, I did my journaling, and I added these cards and the embellishments, and that's basically all I did. And then when you turned it over, the back side mimics a pocket page. It's got 4x6s here, and then the 3x4s here. Well, I just kind of went with it. Added in a 3x4 journal card here, added in a piece of a journal card here, and then another one here, and just tucked some random bits and pieces all along here. And so, called it good. Photo of my sister, and this photo was from the day that we spent at the beach when I went to my mom's house last summer to surprise her for the 4th of July when we have our family reunion. Excuse me. Lots of randomness here. This was a journal bit that I had. I threw in, I cut this doily in half and used a piece over here and a piece over here. I cut this 6x6 sheet apart, used half of it here, half of it here. This was actually a branding strip. The back side was the branding strip, and then it has the pattern on the one side. Added this title up on a foam piece. That's a sticker from the kit. A wood veneer from the kit, and this old blessed, I want to say it's a Miss Elizabeth piece. And then that's a piece of chipboard, or not chipboard, what is it that SCI does? Coaster board. That's a coaster board, and it actually was a ribbon slide, and I just cut it out into a banner shape. Use some twine, lots of stickers throughout. And that's the back side. I had a hard time. I never used that sheet of paper as the as it was intended. Another pocket page with more of those bits and pieces, or more of the cards in there, and I just continued to add bits and pieces. Lots of those little words got used on here. That's a rub on there. That was part of a cutout from my silhouette. It had like a speech bubble around it with hello in the middle, and I just cut it out. The back side of that one, more little bits. I used quite a few little stickers in there, but I also used quite a few little bits of Emphema from that little bowl that I showed you. My cloud photos, I mean, really, they don't need any explanation. You know, not really any embellishment. I had this big chipboard piece that came with the Close to My Heart paper. Didn't come with it, but it was a compliment to it. And I just cut it in half and used a bit there, and you know, split it up and used both pieces. That's a sticker there. There's the half page. More of the cloud pictures. And then that's where my family reunion pictures start. And that was a pocket page card. And I just added a bit of doily, some of those cutout butterflies, a title card from my mind's eye, and then some little pearls. And then more cloud pictures. And still more cloud pictures. If you guys can't tell, I do like cloud pictures. Whenever I'm flying, I always take cloud pictures. This is a bittersweet layout. I wanted part of the brown because I only had like one sheet of brown cardstock, so I cut it out here. And then on this side, just cut down the pattern paper to go along there. Mixed and matched some of the scraps and bits of paper that I had to create this layout. Chipboard pieces, those broken off. If you watched my Out with the Old kit, you saw where I had the brads on their carrier sheet, and I broke the flowers off the brad portion of it so that I could just glue the flower portion down. That chipboard piece I popped up. This set was the Resist chipboard, and I just inked it with, I think, Sky Color ink. Added a bit of ribbon here and here. Those are just some words. Another one of those little word bits. Little paper clip there. This is my granddaddy who just passed away last month, or in March. I forget, it's already May. This was last summer, and he had, at our family reunion, he was the oldest son of like 18 children left, and he passed in March. Sorry. Great guy. And this is one of his younger sisters. If you can believe it, we call her Aunt Baby Gal. Her name is Elizabeth, but we've always called her Baby Gal. I guess it started in her original family, and as the years have gone by, all the nieces, the nephews, the cousins, the grandkids, everybody calls her Baby Gal. And so she's one of my great aunties, so I call her Aunt Baby Gal. Anywho, that's that layout. This is actually a 2-pager that I did like this. On this side, the right side, this piece of chipboard is from Close to My Heart. These bits here, the flowers, are from SCI. a random journal spot. I used washi tape on this one, a doily here. I used ribbon down the edge, and then I double matted this photo of my mom. And these are cousins, etc., in these, and their children in these photos, and then my niece and her girls. And then my granddaddy and my auntie in the background. There's my auntie with more cousins and grandies and everyone in it. Another doily here, sequins, a sticker with a bitty pearl on that and on the one on this side too. And another one of those flare, and more washi tape on this side, and more of those Amy Tan words there. And on this side I actually used a bit of that paper that I cut off from the last layout, and then also a piece of ribbon there. Another pocket page, and I just added a little bit of embellishment here and there. Lots of cousins in these pictures. This side didn't get embellished much at all, just that one pocket card. This is the point. All of the ones previous I've shown on my blog. None of these have been on my blog yet. So if you follow my blog, you are getting a sneak peek. This week has been kind of crazy at work, and so I haven't kept my blog up to date. But I'm hoping to get that done by tomorrow. Anywho, so more, just lots of randomness. Anyway, lots of embellishments on these pages, whether the embellishments came from out of the kit itself, which a lot of these did, or out of my bowl on my desk. They're all from my stash, and it feels really great to get a lot of this stuff used up. And most of you know that I really like using sketches to create my layouts with, or to start my layouts with, and so this is one that I started with a sketch. And it's from this sketch here. It's an 8.5 by 11, and it uses a 4 by 6 photo. And so I made it a 12 by 12 with a 4 by 6 photo. And this one, because I wanted to use this pink paper more, I cut the background out of it. And so there you go. You just have a little border around there. Lots chipboard words. I have bits of SEI and FEMA. That is a 4 by 6 pocket page card. I cut the bottom part. I actually cut around here, and so the bottom half I used here, and then the top half I cut around and just, you know, like tabbed it over. Lots of randomness with all the flowers, and then the candy dots, pearls. Yeah, I love how that one turned out. I wonder why I have this one right here. I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out in a minute, or maybe not. Maybe it's one I already showed. Let me look through here real quick. But I don't see it if it is. Anywho, another pocket page card. These are, this is my grandma, my grandpa, my mama, my papa. This is their original children. This is my Uncle David. This is my Auntie Garner. This is my mother here on this side. This is my Auntie Frances, and this is her husband Ron. She's the only one that's married out of these. My mom is widowed. My uncle is divorced, and then my auntie is, my other auntie is mentally handicapped, so she's never married, never had any children, never married. This side, way more cousins, and then my papa and my Aunt Baby Gal there. And here they are again down here. This is a story of one of my cousin's sons, her youngest son Mason, and my Auntie Garner. Mason sat down and with my auntie, and you know, little children don't understand mentally challenged people in that they're so different, because when you're really young, this is like another young person. My my auntie's mentation is probably that of about an 8-year-old. So, I mean, her and Mason got along fabulous. So he sat down next to her and asked her to tell him a story. And so she started telling him about her job, which she loves to talk about. And so she tells him she works at a place for mentally handicapped people that they do things like counting paper clips to put into boxes and counting hangers to put into a bundle, or those kind of things. It's something that a machine could do very easily, but in order to keep these, I call them kids, to keep these kids functional to some degree, they pay them rather than just having them sit home every day. And so my auntie has been working for this same place for, I want to say, 60 years. No, not 60, 50 years maybe. Because she started right after high school, and I think she turned 70 this year. Because she's a couple years behind my mom. She either turns 70 or, no, maybe 71 this year. And so she still gets up every day and she goes to work. Unfortunately, they're closing that shop this year in June, and she is going to be out of a job, but she's going to be retired. So, not sure how well she's going to like that. But anyway, whenever you sit down and start talking to her, she likes to tell you about her job and how many items she's able to do, or, you know, she always quantifies everything. I was able to do 50 of those today. You don't know what 50 is, but she obviously does. And she likes to tell you they get paid pennies on the dollar for what they do. And if she brings home a weekly check for $35, that's like, I mean, most of her checks are like $10. But a check for, you know, $35 is like over the moon for her. So whenever someone asks about something, that's what she starts talking about. Anyway, I digress. On to the layout. Lots of bits and pieces. This is what this sketch goes with. It's an 8.5 by 11 sketch here with one 4.5 by 6.5 photo, and I just used one 4 by 6 photo. And again, I wanted to use the inside of this wood paper, and so I cut it out and just used some and I thought I might have to put some cardstock behind it, but I think I have enough layers of paper that I think I'll be alright. Down here I have a strip of paper along with washi tape and a chipboard piece. Here just a scrap bit of paper. Then I have a sheet of paper here over the photo. Then I have a blue sheet of paper there, as well as the vellum piece here over top of that behind there. I have, that's just a little bit of card. It had journal area at the bottom, and I cut them apart and just used that tree. And then the title was just Grandma, and so I added the letters My, Grandma, and Me. And that's my granddaughter Zoe and myself. Just lots of randomness there. This layout started with this sketch, and it's a 3-photo sketch. This called for the photos to be 6.5 or 6.25 by 3.5 or 3.25. And so I kind of did my own thing. I don't remember the dimensions. I think they're 6 by maybe 3 3/4 or 3.25, or yeah, maybe 3 3/4. Anyway, so I got those on there. One of my cousins, Jody, my cousin Lydia, her little boy Mason, it's my Uncle David, it's his grandson. And so those are those pictures of them. Used a bit of the cork piece of paper that I had, chipboard embellishments, a 4 by 6 pocket page card, a sticker here, a little bit of chipboard, and some little, that's a rub-on there, and just some little bits of pearls. That's a border strip that was actually still attached to the paper there, and I just border punched it there. This is the cutout of that paper, and it was actually for the challenge that was due this week at Use Your Stuff Challenge blog, and it was to emboss. And so I embossed the clouds here. I embossed the words here, the clouds, and then the You Were Born to Fly. This was on a journal card, but it was like one over top of the other, and so I cut the plane out and then cut that out and then cut the banner out so that it looks like it's pulling it across the page instead of just on a 4x6 card. Use scraps of paper around here, scraps of a frame here, more scrap of paper here, more of those word cutouts there, some stickers here, bits of candy dots. There's that one canvas, what do you call it? Canvas sticker there. And you can see where I combined all the different bluish, turquoise, and greenish letters. And some of them I Frankensteined a little bit with some ink and made Our Day at the Park. And it was actually, the story was that we were at the drive-in theater and the kids were playing at the swing park until the sun went completely down. This one is from here. It's a 12 by 12 using 3 photos, and I actually squeezed 4 on here. I kind of carried it out a little bit farther. It showed that it had more space, probably about 1 inch to 1.5 inches over on this edge, and I just made the border a little more narrow so that I could squeeze in the 4 pictures. And this was as we were walking from the pavilion where we have our family reunion picnic down to the boat ramp. The kids spotted this mushroom over here, and so Autumn, one of my niece's girls, is way into fairies, and she's like, look, a fairy seat. And so we all had to go over and look and watch for fairy glitter, fairy dust. So we were looking everywhere for that, trying to find it. And we had a great imagination because, you know, obviously we imagined it everywhere. Anyway, these are little border strips from the paper. These are just random stickers with some candy dots on them. I used an acetate piece here that was actually left over, and it's kind of hacked sideways. And I was originally going to put a bigger piece of chipboard right here to fill in more of that space, but then I had this chipboard of the chair, so I thought, how perfect is that fairy seat? I really Frankensteined these letters together in order to get what I needed out of them. You can see this is a cut down, this is a created, this is a created, this is a cut down, a created letter, and all of them are created letters with the exception of the F and the I. The rest were made out of other letters. Even these letters, that was an upside down V that I put a little slash across for an A. That was an I that I made into a T. And I think those were right on. Anyway, used a wood veneer with a little sticker on it there to kind of frame that little fairy chair. This is one from the same sketch piece, and it's this one. These will probably go side by side since they are a little similar. It's more about the fairy chair, or the fairy seat, and I brought this yellow and gold strip of paper to here to kind of blend them together, and I felt like the blues were close enough that they could lay side by side in the album and be fine. I used some gold paint to go around the edges of these, metallic paint. And then I used rub-ons here, this bit of leftover felt border, a bit of leftover sticker. I cut this from the middle of a pocket page card, just randomness here, and more little bits of random here. There's actually a piece of that flower shaped paper that I had in my kit. I had 2 pieces, and this is half of one. And then I had, this was on a journal card that I cut it out. I put a transparent sticker here and then layered up the chipboard. That's a bow that I made. And then this is from the cutout piece of paper that I just added a pink scrap behind and then a green one behind that. This one is from this sketch. It's a 3-photo sketch here. And so this one again is of Autumn. And she found something down near the boat dock, and she put that into her pocket. And then she had to check 15 bazillion times to make sure it was still there. And in order to get her hand down into that little pocket, it took some work. And so she really had to work to, you know, get her hand in there to make sure that it was there. But she did. I have this little pocket piece here that I put down, and then I did the journaling on that and then just slid this back down. I used up a lot of my border strips that I had cut out, leftover pieces. Here, that's a chipboard piece, and then I put in my pocket here. This, now that I think about it, this pattern paper I pulled into the kit. It wasn't originally in the kit. This chipboard flower, I just added another chipboard piece. Another one of those words from that word paper cutout. I put the corkboard piece all the way across the back. These were the date I made. I Frankenstein these. These were 7s upside down with a slash to be a 4. A little metal piece with a sticker on top and a little pearl. So lots of little randomness bits, but I think it turned out really well. Another pocket page. Not a whole lot of embellishment here. I did put little bits of pearl all over this map to kind of mimic, you know, if you were traveling and where you'd want to go. Back side of that one. These have lots of just plain old ordinary sequins for embellishment. And these 2 pieces of chipboard I had in that chipboard pouch that I pulled out anyway, and I pulled in some random letter stickers or cardstock letter pieces, and so XOXO is what I made those to be, these moments, and I added that on there. And then these are the cards. This one says Treasure Life's Little Moments. And these, the paper, I didn't use the stamps that came with it. I just pulled in other stamps that I had. The sequins, the paper, the background, all of that came from the kit with the exception of the flowers and the buttons. And the twine and the buttons, they did not come in. I stamped the card and then I stamped the inside with Happy Birthday. I got my watercolors out, and then I got my watercolor crayons out. And so this one was actually the watercolor crayons. And I just slashed back there, did the ground and did the water through the middle, and then stamped the image once that was dry on watercolor paper. Once that was dry, I took my heat gun and I dried it out, made sure it was good and dry before I did my stamping on it, and then put the sentiment there. I added in the blue paper to the card. The envelope says Love and Hugs with the little flower embellishment, and then it's with heartfelt sympathy, and then it says, may looking back in memory help comfort you tomorrow. And then I just added that little floral burst that I had here. The other one I did, this is with the watercolor paints, and it's just a cheap set, and I like the other one much better because, like the trees here in the middle portions where I had added some brown to kind of give it some dimension, it just really like dissolved. I don't know if you can really see that. I mean, it's not going to stop me from using the card because the sentiment is what it's all about. But I added a piece of green cardstock to this and cut that down. I had stamped around the edges, and then Deepest Sympathy is what it says. The front of the envelope says Thinking of You, and it says just a little prayer that God will keep you in His care. And these are close to my heart sentiments. I got on Pinterest and I was scrolling around looking for something to do because I had a lot of this paper left with the butterflies from Echo Park. So I added some cardstock in and ended up with these. Added this white paper in to stamp on. Got another stamp set out. Used some of the ribbon on each of these. And it says, "You're magnificent. Thanks a bunch." And I jacked up as I was stamping this one, you know, when you lift back up. And sometimes when it sticks to the paper and that pulls it up, well, it was just enough pressure because I didn't have a good grip on it. It pulled it back down. So I had it like stamped twice on there, side by side as opposed to on top of each other. And just a simple flower on the front of the card there. This one also says "You're magnificent," but with the white instead of the cream. Another simple flower there. And then I put "Thanks" on the inside of that one. This one says "I'm your biggest fan." And it says "Thank you so much." And another same flower. And this one says "You're so thoughtful." And "Thanks a bunch" is a sentiment, and again just stamped on the envelope. Now these, I thought, okay, I wanted to play around with paint, and so I took a carrier sheet from something. I painted all over, took the paint, watered it down, put it all over this carrier sheet, and smashed it down. Okay, so that one came out fine. Smashed another one down on this one. It was okay. This one was probably my favorite, and I ended up covering most of it up. This one, what I did in the center, you couldn't see, so I just took some blue paint and just splashed across there. So that's what's up with these. This one is one of those little thank you sentiments, and I can put on here, I can check on here, "Thank you for your love, for your gift, for being you, for being a friend, for everything." And then just scraps of paper here, and I actually pulled out my blue scraps rather than pull from my kit for these. Little piece of glitter ribbon, and it says, "From the bottom of our hearts." Use some scrap pieces of paper from my scrap bin, one of those little, I always want to call it cork board, but it's not cork board. It's coaster board. And I Frankensteined some of these letters. I made a C into an E here. That's an upside down W, as is that. And then I thought I Frankenstein another one on that one. Anyway, the front of that, it says "How tweet of you." Put a couple little birdies on there. This one, this little bit from, I used some scraps out of my scrap paper, used some glitter ribbon off my desk, stamped out these little flowers and cut them out, and then used some little pearls on the inside. And I nearly covered up all the blue there. But this little piece here has like a sheen, like a real shiny surface on it, and so when I stamped on that, it did not turn out the very best. I stamped on there "Have a lovely day," and then it says "Birthday wishes," and I just used a piece of that glitter paper and a little piece of that coaster board there, and then just stamped like crazy the front of the envelope. These are the flowers that I stamped and cut out for the front here. Uh-oh. I've lost a heart or a pearl. It's got to be from one of these cards. Ah, I see. They don't really like to stick to the paint. I have put these back down with glue dots several times when I have found them off. So I think I'm going to have to go back through and add even more. This one, I have this bit here already in the kit, and so I just added it to the front of this card. I didn't pop it up or anything. In this piece of scrap paper, I just cut the pieces out of the end and tied a piece of twine around it. The inside says "Live in the moment, treasure the now." And so I added several shapes. I stamped those in there, and then put some more of those coaster board shapes in there, and then the envelope I stamped with "Celebrate." And finally, this one. This actually has a piece of watercolor paper on that I played with, that I mixed greens and blues on a while ago, and I had a little bit of it left over, so I put it on there along with a green and blue scrap paper. Used a bit of glitter ribbon in green, and this chipboard shape has been in my collection for a while, and I actually put it on this pearlized paper here, and then I cut these letters down to make them more narrow to fit in there to say happy birthday, and then just use a little pearl border there, and it says hip hip hooray with the glitter tape and another piece of coaster board. I did get a little bit of ink on there, but I'm not going to worry about it. And it says let's party, let's party, let's party, with a cupcake and a balloon on the envelope. That's it. That's my layout. Share in my card. Share for my March 2015 Counterfeit Kit Challenge Club, or Kit Challenge blog kit. I don't know what I'm saying, y'all. I'm done. I'm tired now. Thanks for sticking around. My blog is called juliesjournaloflife.blogspot.com. If you'd like to head over there and see some of these items with some more detail. Remember, some of them haven't been posted on the blog just yet, but they will be. Just make sure you leave me a message over there and let me know that you saw my video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.